Welcome to Whiskey and Whiskers. This is episode 2 version PBR.
Fuck you.
Show's Top.
Gator.
Chris.
Blake.
So today, I don't even know what's in the magic cooler because I'm in another state. Remote.
You're actually not in a state, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
He's been remoted.
Yeah, I'm remoted. I got volume control and everything. But no,
You might be in a state of inebriation, but
yeah. But no, I'm in Washington D.C. right now, doing this remote.
That's a cool story. Hang on, let me get this bottle of whiskey out, and then you can talk about it while I'm pouring shots.
Alright.
In the magic box. Today we are drinking Stolen Whiskey, aged 11 years, barrel finish with smoked oak staves.
But like, where was it distilled at though?
The oak
within smoked oak staves.
it says it right there.
Probably barrels, bro.
Yeah, I'll read the back of the bottle in a little bit, but
No,
yeah.
but like, what's the company though?
It's called Stolen Whiskey.
No, I know you stole it.
It's also called Stolen
Yeah, I think that's
Whiskey.
the irony of it.
Did they cross the name out and write stolen on it?
Yeah. No, I did that.
Oh.
That's what it is.
You really did steal it.
All right, here, I'm going to pop it, and then we're going to continue on with remote chop talk.
Yeah, to why you think we stole whiskey.
Hang on.
Okay.
It's not bad. How does that sound over there, Chop?
It was alright. So I'm gonna try my own little version. Let's see if it actually works. Should I get any of that?
Whoa, yours is better.
Blew my eardrum out, man. What's up?
What are you drinking over there, Chop?
So I got a bottle of Wild Turkey 101, which I'm not
Nice.
not entirely sure why we haven't had on the show yet, because it is fucking like quintessential whiskey. We're gonna have to do that soon, but in the meantime, I'm gonna drink it
That's main
while
shit.
while I'm up here in the northern realm.
Yeah, just drink the wild turkey for the sake of drinking with us.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we'll definitely bring it on the show. So let's not review it. Just leave the review into us.
yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna pour these shots. Hey, tell us. So where are you, Chop? What are you doing?
So I'm in DC. I'm working up here right now. It's interesting. It's my first time being here. I went and
Is it really?
yeah.
I didn't know it was your first time up there. Yeah, DC's cool, dude. You can do a lot of shit in a very short amount of time there.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. A couple nights ago, I went and made a couple around. So I went down to the Washington Monument and the White House and did all that shit. Dude,
Which, by the way, that's Chop. People that have checked out the Instagram and saw
Hey,
the
Chop.
amazing editing. That's Chop that took those pictures.
Remind me to text you my favorite whiskey bars in DC. You need to go check it out.
yeah, I might do that tomorrow.
It's
But-
a straight legit whiskey bar.
Yeah. I'll check it out tomorrow. Just send me it. But so I didn't realize when I got into this whole endeavor how difficult it was going to be for me to try and pull out an open bottle of whiskey while I was drunk in front of the White House to try and snap a picture. Turns
You
out
think they frown upon that?
Turns out
you
there's a
on the
lot
list
of turns out there's a lot of cops there. And they
What? Really?
yeah, they don't take too kindly when you're popping bottles in front of the White House.
You just tell them, dude, it's cool. I'm a famous podcaster, and you give them a sticker.
That's what I did, yeah.
Have a sticker.
I paid them off
Chop's
a little
networking
bit,
for
but
us.
yeah,
We're getting fans in DC now.
for sure.
Did you stick stickers like on the Washington Monument and on the White House gates?
Yeah, I climbed to the top of both of them and stuck stickers as high as I could get.
Oh, well, you want them down low where they can see them. Go back and tomorrow. Go back and put them down low also.
Yeah.
Definitely on Lincoln's chair.
Yeah, so
right on Lincoln's chair.
I'm working on that one. I haven't
You know
been...
we would go viral if that happened. Like they would be like, someone put a sticker, and everyone would hate us, but like 1 million people would like listen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 million people would hate us.
So I haven't actually made it to the Lincoln Monument yet. I've done Washington and I did the White House and there was one more, but I can't remember right now.
He was the gentleman standing on the rock, made of rock.
Uh,
Was that Jefferson?
I actually don't even remember. I was a little drunk when I took those pictures, not gonna lie. I cracked into that bottle of 101 and I'd been getting off the airplane, which that was a whole other endeavor. And getting drunk on an airplane is a
full
different kind
body?
of thing.
The full bottle of in those pictures would say that is a lie.
No, it was cracked. It was
I bet
cracked.
there's more than that one bottle of alcohol in DC though.
True.
Yeah. And I guarantee you there's a lot more airplane shots than that in my backpack.
Chop,
yeah.
Just make something up. That statue was Paul Revere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Nobody could even call you on it. They'd be like, I don't know, maybe. Sounds right.
No, it looked like Paul Revere.
Yeah, from the the profile, you kind of from the side, like he's got Paul Revere's nose.
And the stone, like, that gave it away.
People don't know this. Paul Revere and Abraham Lincoln look a lot alike, and that they're both made of stone. It's just Abraham Lincoln is a lot taller, like a lot taller.
Even when he's sitting down, he's taller.
Because he's like 65 feet tall.
He was really tall for his time.
Some
crazy.
people might say larger than life even.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in so many ways.
Did y'all ever hear that anecdote? I don't know if it's true, and maybe I'm just making this up. I don't know. Did you ever hear the thing about Abraham Lincoln being really good at wrestling, and he would just like punk people?
No, but I heard he was a vampire killer.
Yeah.
Well, it would make sense that a vampire killer knows how to wrestle, right?
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think he was a really accomplished wrestler, and like he would beat them at like a debate, and then they would be like, "Well, fuck you," and he'd be like, "Yeah, you want to go?" And then he would wrestle them and like submit them. And be like, yeah, now I win.
What do you do, like high school wrestling?
So he dominates them at politicking, and then he dominates them on the mat. You know what I
Tennessee state champion wrestler
No,
Abraham
no.
Lincoln.
You've got it all wrong, dude. You're totally off base here. Show a little decorum. It was more like WWF wrestling.
Oh.
He'd hit him with a folding chair.
Dude, now I can see it.
There
dude.
were so many folding chairs back then.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
like,
A lot of people don't know this. A little bit of trivia for our listeners. Abraham Lincoln invented the folding chair specifically for wrestling. They didn't even realize you could sit on it until 100,000 years later.
This
was
is
it just
another
meant to be like a surface that could bounce off your head, kind of?
another
Take a shot.
fun.
Oh, go ahead, Chop.
I was going to say another fun WWE fact is that John Cena was actually one of the first people to wrestle Abraham Lincoln. Just nobody could see him.
Founding father?
Yeah. Well, nobody could see. Nobody could see John Cena.
Let's take the shot.
All right.
See how this stolen whiskey feels.
Dude, surprise John Cena was awesome.
I won't know about the stolen whiskey, but I'll take a shot of 101 with you.
Deal.
Do that, chap.
All right.
Shit, dude.
Yeah,
Huh.
some good whiskey.
I'm drinking
Strong.
some man shit too. I'm not going to go into the review or anything, but Wild Turkey 101 is definitely some fucking man shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No, man.
I don't know. Do we want to talk about stolen now, or do we want to carry on?
Later, but I am curious. What's the content? Alcohol by volume?
92 proof, 46% alcohol, so it's got a little bit of edge.
Yeah.
Not quite 101 though.
Not quite.
Chump's gonna be shitty by the end of this episode.
I know. He's like, where's my bird?
Hey, y'all. Time to get shitty.
So you said you have some airplane bottles in your backpack?
Oh, for sure.
God.
So
Did you drink them on the airplane?
So I managed to get a couple down. So here's the issue is so I like to drink when I'm on the plane because being on a plane is shitty and there's nothing else to do. So I got to the airport and drank a couple beers, and then I was keeping my airplane shots for when I got onto the plane. So I get onto the plane, I'm walking down the aisle trying to find my seat or whatever, and I had a reserved seat, so I knew I had a middle seat, which is kind of shitty, but I'm walking down the aisle, and I see my row, and then sure as shit, in the fucking window seat in the aisle that I'm got the middle seat, my boss is sitting in the window seat. So
Nice.
I go to sit down, I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I'm not drinking airplane shots on the plane, because my boss is here.
Yeah, nothing will
So did
kill
he-
your buzz like being in your boss's personal
So
space.
did he
Yeah.
get drunk with you?
So it's a she, and no, this particular boss has been sober for about 13 years. So,
So she's a hater.
yeah, she's a hater.
Rough, man.
But
Charlie's.
You have a problem.
that
So
said,
really, you're training in two ways. One, you're training how to drink at work, which is a necessary skill, right? You have to
Right.
learn how to. Children learn now. They're not going to teach you this in school. This is something you have to learn on your own, how to drink and go to work.
I mean,
Yeah.
lunch
Be
happens.
sneaky.
yeah,
Lunch happens.
But
I still
also-
don't know how to do it, by the way.
But also, you're training
OJT.
by drinking at altitude.
yeah, which is also important. I did luck out. My boss passed out for the entire flight. Like, she was snoring and shit. So I got
How much alcohol did she drink? How many airplane
she's
shots
been
did she
sober
take?
for 7 years. She was
Fucking-
drinking.
She blacked
beers
out.
at the-
So she passed out and was snoring and shit, and I got the cart
Hiccups.
lady to give me a Pepsi or Coke or whatever the fuck they had on the plane, and then I just snuck a couple shots into my Coke and did it that way.
I see you working.
So yeah, training.
Wow.
You gotta learn how to.
You got Coke on an airplane?
Yeah.
Sweet.
No, but I don't want to just gloss over this. I want to talk about training for drinking at altitude, because drinking at altitude is completely different than drinking on the ground
And at a high rate of speed,
or
too.
at sea level.
Dude,
Yeah, that's physics and shit. That matters.
If you stay drunk at altitude for multiple days and go back down to your normal altitude, it'll fuck you up.
So that's the main event, right? Like these UFC fighters, they go up into the mountains and they train, and then they come back down and then they fight at sea level for the main event, and it's basically just so that they can have, get trained on having more oxygen in their blood system. What you're doing, Chop, is you're going up in an airplane, way high altitude. You're getting drunk so you can train yourself to go on a ski trip.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because that's the main event. That's the pay-per-view right there. This is for the belt. We're playing for keeps. You know what I'm saying? Like, then we're going to do 3 days of drinking Fireball, because that's, when in Rome.
Must drink Fireball in the snow on the mountains at altitude.
There is no other shot. I don't think they sell any other shot on the mountain other than Fireball. I think
They do, but it's just it's an afterthought of the Fireball.
It's stuff to put in your coffee.
Yeah.
But you can do Fireball in your coffee.
You
It's-
might. I mean,
it's more
you
of
might
like a-
just all night drinking Fireball and then want to grab a Jaeger bomb on the way out the door
What other situations might you have to drink at altitude? Are those the only two?
on an airplane.
On the airplane and when you're skiing?
I guarantee that I will be drinking at altitude right before I jump out of a fucking plane if I ever do that.
What if you're like an astronaut?
Yeah.
I know they don't drink, but what would that
But drinking
be
in
like?
zero gravity, getting drunk in zero gravity could be a whole thing. We've talked about this, I think.
Dude, getting drunk at altitude right before you ride a snow machine,
Yeah, snow machines.
What if you got like wasted and hiked Mount Everest?
you would
You
die.
would die.
That'd be
people
fucking
just-
hard though, dude. If you're like blackout drunk trying to climb a mountain,
You'd
I
be
don't
the
think
only
you would make
motherfucker
it.
that lived. Everyone else would die.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know, man. I was drunk.
That's
you're like,
because
I don't
you-
know how I got up there. And they're
That's
like,
because
"Who
you
did?"
fell asleep at the bottom. You got drunk and passed out at the bottom. They all walked up and died.
Yeah, but then you get to make the story, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't know. I was at the top. People started dropping out, and I started carrying them. And after I 3 or 4 motherfuckers, I had to set them down to save my own life.
I need some aspirin and some greasy food.
I got a wicked headache.
Yeah.
Then I ran out of Fireball and ran the rest of the way down.
Yeah. Oh man.
Getting drunk and climbing Mount. People just die at the top of Mount Everest. Did you know that?
They don't even climb that far and they die. They just leave their bodies there.
There's this line. I've seen it on a map before. There's a red line that they draw on. So there's like base camp. And then there's like a stop, and then there's the peak, the summit. But they all sleep at this base camp, and it's just below this red line. Once you cross that red line, people just die, like for no reason.
Yeah.
Like they're fine. They're not hypothermic. They just die because it's fucking
Your body's like,
altitude. Yeah.
nope, you're not supposed to go to space. You die now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
That's
and
intense.
they, like, I don't think they know, like, who is just going to die and who's not. If people are just dying, like, dropping out, like, I'm not going to fucking go there. Like, okay, maybe I'm one of the people that might survive this.
That must
Fuck
be
that.
that
Like,
must,
why would you?
that must be the thrill of it, though. Can you imagine? You're like, I'm training for this thing, and if I get to the very, very tip top of it, I might die. Just because I might die.
I
up
think
there.
they should require everybody that wants to climb Mount Everest to go through astronaut training prior to climbing Mount Everest.
Even
Yeah, I
even
feel
if
like astronaut training weeds out the motherfuckers that are just going to die.
so even if
And
you,
I think there's a bunch of bullshit at the top of Mount Everest, like trash and shit. Dead bodies. People leaving dead bodies up there.
They need to burn all that shit.
all right,
I don't
so
think they can.
even
dumpster fire.
even if you went up to the top and you didn't die, you would almost die. Like that would be your story. Is I got to the top, I almost died, and then I came back down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's almost dying.
That's a
for
dumb
sure.
place to be. You know where else people can't survive? That sometimes they'll just die for no reason? Underwater. Right? So you know what I'm not going to do? Is try to live underwater. Like, dude, we're not supposed to be there. Get the fuck down. It's like when your kid climbs up on the counter and you're like, hey, you're not supposed to be up on the counter. Get down off the counter.
Yeah, food goes on the counter, not people. Get down now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blake, I was of that school of thought until I went scuba diving, and now I'm on the other side of that.
Yeah, but you went down there with tanks. People climb Mount Everest without tanks. People climb with tanks and whatever, fine.
People are
But-
stupid.
That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't go try to live underwater with no tanks.
No.
Because you would die.
Is it just like a free for all there? They're like, yep, get on it.
I
Get your
wouldn't try
tube
to-
and go to the top.
I wouldn't try to climb Mount Everest without tanks either.
No,
Yeah,
you gotta
that's
have
dumb.
permits and shit, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, licenses and permits and certifications.
Yeah, but you can get around. Everyone knows
Registrations
licenses. That's just a suggestion, right? Like, you just got to act like you've been there.
Dude, in
Yeah.
the end, money talks. Period.
I left my sunglasses up there. Just got to run back up real quick.
if you got enough money, Russia will fly you to space.
Yeah.
That's
But-
pretty sweet.
Hold on, I actually kind of want to go back because we
Need
glossed
a lot
over
of
something
fucking
that
money.
I actually want to talk about. If you go to the top of Mount Everest, you almost died. Period. Right?
Yeah.
What is
Okay.
the time that you almost died?
Oh, okay. Well, shit. This is gonna
This is gonna take the rest of the episode.
expose me a little bit because the other analogy I was drawing was being underwater, right? So that's what I'm gonna roll into.
Oof.
I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and we were tubing, and there was some rapids and whatever. They're fast. When it's fast, it's fun, right? Like that's cool.
Mhm.
Well, at the very end of the rapids, there was like one final drop, and it was a drop, and it wasn't big. It was probably only like 4 feet from where the water went over the cliff till it hit the bottom. You know, you could stand up, and your head is like almost at the level. You know, but I'm like 8. And this is a waterfall. I mean, it's not a huge waterfall, but it is a waterfall.
Right.
And I went over it in my tube, and it flipped me out of my tube, and I was stuck right underneath that waterfall, and I couldn't get off the ground, like the ground.
Like push off with your feet. Kinda.
Yeah, because I would push up, and I'm still in the waterfall, and it would push me back down, and I was not like aware enough, I guess, to push out.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to push up, and it kept pushing me back down, and I almost drowned, and someone
Dude.
stuck their arm down. It was my uncle, actually. Stuck his arm down, He-Man me out of there.
All right, so
Dude,
I
it
actually
was
have a
close.
very, very,
Right there.
very similar story. Only I was a grown-ass man. I went to Twin Falls in Austin, and it's a swimming hole on the Greenbelt. Really awesome place. But I went there a few times with my roommates several years ago, and there's this little pool where one waterfall goes in, and then it's like a hot tub sized pool, and then there's waterfalls going out into like the main like little river part. So we had been there a couple times, and we would sit down in that pool, and you could lean back against the rocks against the top waterfall, and like let water run over your head and stuff, and it's just something kind of cool to
Awesome.
do. Yeah. So we did that a few times. Well, we went back another time after it had been raining like a lot the week before. And so there was a lot stronger of a current, a lot like more intense of a waterfall, like not necessarily further because it was still just as full, but like just more water was going over it at any given time. So more volume. So I went down in that little pool and I leaned back into it, not really thinking anything of it. And it just fucking shot me to the bottom of that pool and smacked me against the rocks. And I could not fucking get back up for like 20 seconds. And it scared the shit out of me. It was the first time I'd ever been afraid of water, because I was like a real strong swimmer. Like, I'd been snorkeling and scuba diving and done all that shit and been a, athletic swimmer and did all that. And this fucking...
You gotta push out. You gotta puch away from the waterfall.
But that's the thing is, that's the thing is I
You
couldn't,
didn't learn that
because
from Blake?
I was
come
in-
on, man.
I was in a
told you
little,
that, John.
I was in a little hot sized tub pool. So like there was no way to push out. There was no going anywhere. It was just like a little pool.
Man, excuses. Shit.
Scared the
Come
shit
on.
out of me, man. That was
Back in the day, Chop, you'd have swam up that waterfall.
for sure.
Yeah. Like a salmon.
But yeah, that was probably my time that I almost died. Or one of the closest ones.
So, when I was like 16, I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And if you're ever in there, there's like a square in the middle of the downtown area. And of course, I'm starving for a hot dog, and I get a hot dog from like a street vendor.
Which Santa Fe is known for their hot dogs.
Fucking-
World-renowned hot dogs.
Right, dude. And so I had to get one. I was like, I'm in Santa Fe. I got to get a fucking hot dog. I bet they're great. So I get a hot dog.
They put Hatch chilies on. Never mind. Sorry.
But I'm so hungry for hot dogs. I'm just plowing through this thing, and I took a bite. I didn't chew it enough. And the hot dog went and got stuck right in my throat. And it was one of those like,
I figured you'd be used to that by now.
fuck, dude. I can usually get them back out. You just push away. They come out.
Push out.
Yeah, push out. I was pushing up, and it just
You blew. You
Yeah.
blew.
yeah, it was pretty scary. I got close, and I eventually swallowed it down, but it was like I had to force it down. It was crazy. It was like, almost drowning. I was like almost choking on a hot dog, a wiener,
You don't have to put your hand on the back of your head to eat a hot dog. You know that, right?
Yeah, now I do. I was just hurting my neck doing that all the time. Kept getting like cramps. I thought I pinched a nerve at one point, but I'm good now.
Death by throat wiener.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, what's yours?
So what do you like? I'm probably the dumbest smart person you ever met.
So easy. Don't give yourself too much credit, man.
So I've almost died a lot of times. You want the most recent one?
Yeah.
Sure.
The most recent one, I learned to respect snow and mountains. We went to ride snow machines. We went to ride snow machines in the mountains, and got shit house drunk on the way to the snow machine place. They almost didn't even let us ride, but we were having a good time, so they let us go.
It's in New Mexico. They don't give a fuck.
And so they take you like horseback
you can
riding,
buy booze in the gas station.
Yeah.
horseback riding trail style down to this like big open area where you can just go ham on these snow machines. Couple things. One, snow machines are heavy. Like
Snowmobiles, is that what you mean?
like a motorcycle. They're heavy.
Yeah, snowmobile, right.
Two, you would think they would just like spin and spin and spin and never flip over.
Those are some flip over-y motherfuckers.
Yeah, they flip over for sure.
And
Yeah.
unlike a motorcycle, I feel like you fall off a motorcycle and you kind of fall away from it. Those you fall under.
Yeah.
Like if
It
you
would come
fall
on.
over on a snow machine, it lands on top of you.
Yeah. It's a jet ski. Basically except snow. And so this big area that they had, we were just going ham as fast as you could drive the snow machine around in a circle. And me and Blake were kind of following each other, and every time he would go around, he would go a little bit wider. And so I would go a little bit wider than he went.
We're going like a little bit closer to the precipice, like the edge, And it's not like it's just a hill, a really steep hill, and
Right.
trees at the bottom. It wasn't like a cliff.
And so like I get to the edge this one particular time after about 4 passes, and I'm like, that looks like fun going down that motherfucker. I'm gonna go down that way. And it's just down the side of this mountain, and there's trees, and it's just like you can almost see a little type of trail, maybe. Well, so I thought. And so I start going down, and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is the shit. I'm gonna go down here and find this new shit and drive too fast and reckless. And
So I was doing every time I went around, I would make new tracks in the fresh snow, right? Because we were going harder than everyone else.
Yeah.
So I made these tracks, and then I would come around again, and I could see Chris's tracks go a little bit further, and I was like, oh fuck. So I would try and go a little bit further. We were playing that game.
Yeah.
Well, I came back around, and it was the same tracks, and I was like, oh no, and I start looking around for Chris, and I can't find him.
yeah, so I went down this hill, and I made it about 100 yards down, and I was turning to cut through some trees, and the snow turns out is about 8 feet deep in this particular area.
No shit.
And I get to where I'm trying to turn and go through some terrain, and these are some flip over motherfuckers, as Blake said earlier. And so I'm going kind of slow, and as I slow down, I start to sink, and that whole motherfucker sinks 8 feet down into the snow, and I'm 100 yards directly uphill from where everybody else is hanging out.
And no one can see him.
And no one can see me. And so it doesn't sound like much because you're like 100 yards. It's right there. It's not a big deal. But we were at 9,000 feet and 8 feet of snow. And so every step, I got to dig out enough to like make another step into the snow because the snow's taller than I am. And I sink. I'm 200 fucking pounds. And
you sink every time. Like
Every
you claw
time.
your way to the top and take one step and sink again.
Yeah.
And I finally get somebody's attention, and they come down there, the guys that are running the whole show or whatever, and they help dig it out. That dude was a rock star too. Like we dug a bunch of snow out, and he put 1 foot on and kept 1 foot off, like he was standing on the side, and he just grabbed the gas and just wah and flew the motherfucker out of the hole and like rode it all the way up the hill. And then he was like, "You got to walk up here," and I started walking up. And I made it about 14 steps and realized that I was going to die in the snow.
And they're just going to bury me. They're just going to dump snow on top of me.
By
Mount
the time they get back, I'm dead and frozen solid. It's fucking 5 outside, 5 degrees. And I'm in 8 feet of snow, and I can't breathe. Literally cannot get any oxygen. My breath is short like I just ran a marathon.
Yeah, they forgot to put air up there.
I can't get any fucking oxygen. And I'm like sweating inside my suit because I'm like trying to climb the side of this fucking mountain in deep snow. And that's when I realized that snow will kill the fuck out of you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, can you imagine if you were there by yourself?
No, dude, I would have been dead, bro. I don't know. I would have been trying to start a fire on top of the snow machine.
Yeah, snow's rough stuff, dude.
It was gnarly, and that's just the most recent. Like that's this year. That's this year.
So that's why you drink on the airplane, so you can get your training in. That way, when we go back, you'll be prepared to get that drunk, and you'll be able to catch your breath, dig yourself out.
Yeah,
Get stuck in the snow.
clearly it's logical. I mean,
Yeah, we're basically UFC athletes, basically training at altitude
Yeah,
by drinking on the
running through
airplane.
snow.
Yeah, and speaking of which, flash forward and preview for next week. I'm going to be in Denver next week, which I talked about a little bit, but I will be continuing to train at altitude because I'll be drunk on the plane and drunk in Denver, which is fucking way up there.
You gotta check out that airport for us.
Oh, we will. We will.
Ooh,
find all
Ooh.
the secret tunnels.
Do you have
Conspiracies.
Take
have-
shots in front of the secret tunnels.
Do you have time in the airport to like walk around and take pictures and shit?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I have a travel day. I'm not working that day. I'm going to fly in, and I will have all the time in the world as long as I get there for the hotel that day.
Dude, I got a buddy up there. I might fly in and see. That's next week?
Yeah, next week.
You got my wheels turning. I got some miles.
Word. But
So I drank a cup of coffee before the show. And I'm like jittery. I need to drink some whiskey to balance it out.
Yeah. Shots, let's go.
I think I fucked myself because this
Every morning?
Well, no, this morning I drank one of those. This morning I drank one of those Bang energy drinks.
Oh man,
Have you had one of those? It's
no.
like 6 cups of coffee in an energy drink, and it's drugs. It's straight drugs.
Oh, dude.
And they just let me drink it at work. I didn't even have to pretend.
Man.
But I drank that this morning, and right about the time it was tapering off and wearing off or whatever, then I drank a cup of coffee before the show. And now I'm like shaking
Man.
and shit.
I've had those 5-hour energies. Are they similar to that?
Dude, I'm calling
so
bullshit.
this is a can like a Red Bull,
Okay.
but I mean half of one is enough.
Wow. Because I've had like 3 of those ones, and I was up for like 40 hours straight. I drove from fucking Bernie to Vernal, Utah straight, and like I still couldn't go to sleep for 12 hours after I got there. They kept me up so hard. It was fucking drugs, man.
I'm going to need to remember this for the next drive to New Mexico.
Oh, dude, it's not funny because you're like, I want to go to sleep now, and you're just like, nope.
I got loopy as fuck driving to New Mexico.
I've seen some other people do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that happens almost every year. Someone's like, all right, I'm going to start driving. You guys pass out, and then when you wake up, you take over, and I'll pass out. And inevitably, the person that started driving drives all the way there and stays up for like, 28
All night,
hours straight.
Yeah. That's badass shit, though, when you do that.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
drugs. That's drugs by itself.
I got fucked up.
Chop, we're taking shots on this end.
All right, I'm with you. Cheers.
Cheers.
I've said it before, but sleep deprivation is one of the most hardcore drugs out there.
For sure. That shit doesn't play.
Dehydration's pretty hardcore, too, man.
There was a UFC fighter that, Evan Tanner? Does that sound familiar?
Tevin
familiar.
Anner does.
He rode his motorcycle out into the desert in
Oh,
Nevada.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And his motorcycle broke down, and he went, oh, fuck that, I'll walk back. So he picked the motorcycle up, threw it on his back, started running. I don't know. But he
Made it all the way
he
back.
died. He died of exposure out there.
Wow.
He was like,
He got crushed by a motorcycle.
I don't remember if I know he
Yeah.
fought George St. Pierre for the belt. I don't remember if he ever had the belt or not, but he was like a #1 contender. Like, he was a badass dude. And
Man.
Khabib is the new GSP.
he died just from fucking,
Like being in the desert, basically?
yeah, and sun exposed. Dude, sunburns will fuck you up. I mean,
Oh, man.
Gator, it being a
Yeah.
vampire, right?
Yeah, man, for sure. My green ginger skin. No, it's for real. I like getting drunk sometimes when it's just unexpected and you're just fucking shithoused. That's how sunburns are. You're just like, oh, I'm going out in the sun for a little bit. Like, oh, I'm just going to have a few shots of whiskey. And next thing you know, you black out for 40 hours. It's like that, You're like, I'm just going to go out and go swimming for a half hour. Next thing you know, you got skin cancer and all your shit's fucked up,
Are you one of those people that wears a long sleeve sun shirt?
No, but I am one of those people who's just like ghostly white. I look like I'm like a tribesman or something.
Dude, if I'm in survival mode, I'm about that life. I'll wear a shirt.
I even put sunscreen on my hair, bro. Because that shit really hurts.
If my motorcycle breaks down in the desert, I hope I have a long sleeve shirt on.
Oh yeah, and you should hopefully.
Yeah,
And a
man.
jacket because it's probably gonna get cold.
Cold
at
as
nighttime.
fuck at nighttime.
Dude, I don't know when my worst sun. Okay, I think my worst sunburns happen at the beach more so than the lake. I've spent a lot of time on the lake, and I usually am smart enough to put sunscreen on and then swim and then put sunscreen. Like I keep up with it. For some reason at the beach, I'll put sunscreen on because I'm not one of those people that's like, fuck sunscreen.
I am.
But I'll put sunscreen on and then I'll go out on the beach and then you start playing horseshoes and drinking whiskey and drinking beer. And then you go get in the water to cool off and then you get back out and keep playing horseshoes, keep drinking whiskey. And then before you know it, you wake up the next morning on the beach covered in sand, sunburned like a motherfucker.
And hungover
sunburns are terrible.
So that happened to me this year, and I'm pretty sure we talked about it when it happened. I think I showed you guys my entire back shedding. But yeah, I did the same thing. I went to the beach and then played horseshoes for 4 or 5 hours and drank a bunch of beer and whiskey, and then
That's what it is. You're like I don't know what happened, and they're like, what'd you do? And you're like, well, I went down to the beach and played horseshoes for 6 hours.
Yeah.
You're a fucking idiot.
I have my shirt off the whole time. Yeah.
No shade.
Yeah.
Dude, the river will fuck you up pretty bad, but the worst I've ever been sunburned by far was in the Keys. When I was in the Keys, and it was 30 minutes.
Man.
You start cooking, and you're like, oh, it's cool. I'm only 30 minutes in. I might put sunscreen on in a little while because you can feel it cooking. And 30 minutes in, you're purple. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You ever thrown up from getting a sunburn?
Yeah, you get close down to the equator. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like sun poisoning or some shit. Yeah. It's like alcohol poisoning.
That's what happened to me this year.
Do y'all get seasick?
Yes.
I've gotten car sick before.
Dude, I used to, when I was a little kid, I got car sick, train sick, plane sick, sea sick. It didn't matter. If it was moving, I got sick. Now, I'm pretty good. Unless I've been drinking, I don't really get car sick. If I'm hungover, I'll get car sick. But I still get seasick. That one will still fuck with me.
So I get conditional seasick. If the vessel is moving, I'm fine. If the vessel sits still and just takes waves crashing on it, that'll fuck me up. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense because if you're just going at one target velocity or whatever.
Yeah, the waves and the up and down doesn't bother me.
You just cut that shit.
I'm going that way.
And you've got that velocity, but when you're just sitting there,
but if the boat stops and it's just that's when I get seasick. So, cure for that though is put on scuba gear and jump in the fucking water so that you're not fucking sitting in the boat.
What are those pills people take?
Dramamine.
Yeah.
The trick is you have to take it before you get out. If you get out there and you get sick, you're fucked. You're not going to not be sick anymore.
Yeah.
But if you take it before you go out and then you take more again once you start going out, then it'll help. It depends on how susceptible you are to it.
Sure.
When I got sick on the boat, when we started moving again, I wasn't sick anymore. I stopped being sick when we started moving again. And then I was like, I don't care. I could stay on the boat all day if we're fucking moving.
I know. So different than being seasick, but I've gone on some guided fishing trips. I don't go deep sea, but I'll do the bay,
Yeah.
And if you stand on a boat, I guess it could be the same for the lake, although I've never experienced it, hanging out, partying on the lake.
Do you guys throw up and bait the fish?
Yeah, you chum the water.
Yeah.
But it's different. It's drunk throw up, not seasick throw up.
Oh, but they love it, and then they get drunk too.
What I was saying though is in the bay fishing thing, you're standing outside. You're in direct sunlight the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
2, you're standing the whole day because you're standing on the front, standing in the back. You're fishing.
Yeah.
And then when you get back to shore, there's a cool down period of the ground isn't moving, right?
Yeah, you get the rubber legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just from 6-7 hours of being on a boat.
Yeah. You get that partying on the lake too. You get the rubber legs coming off the lake if you've been out all day.
See, I've spent a lot of time, but also when you're on the lake, I'm not standing up fishing. Usually I'm either sitting down and we're moving, or I'm sitting down drinking beer, or I'm swimming, or I'm skiing, or there's a lot of change in pace. When you're fishing, you're literally just standing on the boat, and it's not even big waves because it's in the bay, but it's not solid. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stand back on solid ground, you're like, whoa, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's just total change.
Bar stool too long.
Yeah, same thing. That's a good analogy. When you sit on the bar stool and you take a shot and then you hang out and smoke a cigarette and take another shot, and then you start watching football or something and take another shot, drink a few beers, and now it's 11:30 and you're like, hey, I gotta get out of here, and you stand up and you go, whoa, I'm fucking drunk. And you didn't even realize you were drunk until you stood up? Yeah. It's kind of the same thing. Sea legs. Gotta get your sea legs.
Sea legs.
Yeah.
So we're training for that, too.
Yeah, getting your legs ready.
Yep. That's the theme of this episode, I think, is, training.
Training.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, we're basically high-performance athletes.
You guys run camps and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys do like quick camps? Like, could you just do like, say I wanted to go fly to Aspen or something. Could I just train over that flight? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you train there, and then you train on the way back. You train while you're there. And
So you don't
before
necessarily have to spend like a long time training. You can do like a quick train and get into it too.
Dude, you work out when you can.
Yeah. True.
Get drunk before, after, during.
Yeah, just as long as you can get on the plane without them giving you a hard time.
Dude, we do an event every year where we compete in drinking games, basically beer fest, but our version of it.
Redneck Beer Fest.
And I want to start training Das Boot. I think this is something that I've never been super good at. It's chugging beer, but I think I could if I trained, if I focus. You know,
Do you have Das Boot?
I don't, but we can get one. Yes, I bought one, but someone else has it right now.
You know how to fix that, right?
You need to train. Because
Say what?
You know how to fix not being good at chugging beer, right?
Yeah, chug beer.
Well, yeah, I mean that too, but I was going to say don't be a pussy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
sometimes you got to learn to not be a pussy.
Is Das Boot a thing that's like prolific, or is that just degenerates like us?
What does that mean?
That's degenerates like us.
I think that's just degenerates like us.
Because most of the other shit that we do is pretty, like, we play quarters, we play Pong, we play Flip Cup, and then we play Das Boot. Those are the categories.
All competitive in a bracket and basically,
One-on-one.
Yeah, the winner wins. And there's a plaque. That
There's
you
a
get at
point
the-
system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But my point is, it's coming up. If you want to train boot, you need to start like now.
So I guess, yes, you can do a short train.
Don't forget
Yeah.
about the
Train
train
for like the
stands
next
too.
2 weeks, and I'm going to dominate
You're gonna be like beer bong for like 2 weeks straight and
the apparatus. That's one of my favorite ways to drink beer.
beer bong.
Turn
Oh,
in your
man.
mission statement to your loved ones and to your work. I was like, look, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm doing something for me. I'm going to be training for the next few weeks. Be
I'm
prepared.
going to be in high intensity training. I may show up. I may be tired. I may have a headache.
I may smell like booze.
It's because I'm hyper focused on the goal.
Thanks in advance for your extended understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I can crush Das Boot if I just get a little
You gotta
training.
practice. Are you gonna practice with beer? Or are you gonna practice with other liquids?
No, I'm going to practice with straight whiskey.
You know what what
Oh.
I hear is you're supposed to train with goat piss because if you can chug goat piss, you can chug anything.
That's true. That's science.
Fact.
What's the special quality of goat piss? Why is it so unique and special that if you can chug it, you can chug anything?
Because it's terrible.
Yeah.
How do you know? Have you had it?
Well,
I've
duh.
heard.
I do know this. This is one thing I do know. If you're going to compete in Das Boot, you want to pour your beer and then you want to let it sit for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
You have to let it warm up because nobody wants to be drinking ice cold beer if they're chugging
It's hard
4 beers straight.
to worry
you
about
know?
the brain freezes and the coughing.
Oh, dude.
So you want it room temperature and you want it flat. And I know that sounds crazy. It's not gonna taste good. That's not what you're going for.
Yeah.
If it's carbonated, it's gonna start burning your throat. Drink.
You gotta put that volume out. Yeah.
It'll bubble up in your stomach too.
Oh, man, yeah.
So you want it flat as it can get.
You gotta let it sit.
So my recommendation is pour it up and then wait a few hours, then come back and drink it.
Yeah.
You're not
While
wrong.
we're talking about this, I gotta throw one thing out there. Fuck you, Rob.
Fuck you, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big old asterisk.
Big ol' asterisk.
That's fucked up.
Now I will throw this out there, and I want to talk about this also because it's a weekend-long drinking event. That means it is a 3-day hangover.
Dude, that's no bullshit.
Oh,
So
we talked about the cumulative hangover.
this
Yeah.
past year,
Oh, man.
I
Pay
was
dividends.
I was a champion giving up my crown. So I did the honorable thing and gave myself alcohol poisoning.
In the name of training, like if you're really dedicated to your craft, your art form, I mean, sometimes you got to sacrifice.
Dude, I'm that champion that I was just trying to make it to champion. And once I made it to champion, I was living the champion life and didn't have time to train. And so then, I gave myself alcohol poisoning.
Sometimes that's what it takes, man. Everybody
Chopper
loves
taking shots.
everybody loves a good redemption arc. Got to be the
Taking
comeback king.
shots, and then we're going to talk about this whiskey chump.
Hi.
Oof.
So this is man whiskey. This is strong. I mean, I don't know about. It's only 92. I mean, it's 92 proof. It's only 92 proof. But
So what you're telling me? What you're telling me is you're being a pussy.
So it's called Stolen Whiskey. It's aged 11 years, which is cool. Barrel finished with smoked oak staves. So smoked oak, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with that. That's Franklin's Barbecue 101, right? Smoked oak.
I've never been able to keep whiskey for 11 years.
This is stolen. No, 11 days is triumph. This is stolen American whiskey. We are firm believers in you can't rush greatness, which is why we waited 11 long years before we pulled our whiskey out of the barrel. Thanks to our patience, we now have a true American whiskey, structurally complex, rich in color, with a delightfully creamy mouth. God, they had to fucking go there. Mouthfeel. Fuck your mouthfeel. Bullshit.
What's your mouth feel like?
And if that wasn't enough, we took it a step further and added a keen finish with wood-fired smoke barrel stave. See, I like that. Giving it that extra kick over the top. Drink it like it's stolen. So it does have an extra kick, doesn't it?
It does. It's got kick. It's not very sweet. I give it a pretty good crunch, pretty good bite. I like the bottle a lot. Drunkenness, it's 92 proof. I think that's going to be good.
They're going for a bold, over the top. Like, this is not supposed to be smooth. This is supposed to. This is intentional crunch.
It makes your balls tingle. Yeah, it's intentional crunch. I was gonna say I liken it to kind of how you like the bad guy. Like, man, what's that mobster that used to rob trains?
I don't know.
Yosemite Sam?
Jesse.
Yep,
James.
that's him.
No, Jesse James. It was Jesse James. But I don't know. He was like, you liked him because he was gritty.
Yeah, this has got grit for sure.
Mm-hmm.
True grit?
Sweetness, I'm gonna put it at 1.
I give it 1.5 to 2. I think they put enough sweet to knock the biter crunch off to where it's not just
It's not
absolutely
bitter.
offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think it's got enough sweet to balance out the over.
but very, very little sweetness. Very little.
Yeah.
Crunch, this one's strong. If you're into something that's gonna make your toes curl, like, that's what this is. 1 to 5, I'm gonna put it at a 3.5, 4.
Yeah.
Did you already take your shot?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you fuckers. All right.
The shot.
Bite, I'm gonna call it a 4 as well. It's got a good bite. Again, this is a bold whiskey.
It's a bold whiskey, but good. It's good. I like it. I like it.
It's like
But it goes against. I like it for all the reasons that I like Evan Williams.
it's like intentionally rough around the edges.
I like it for all the reasons that I like Evan Williams.
You know, it's like a spray painting instead of a paintbrush painting. You know, like it's supposed to be.
Well, it looks like the
Rough like
label
that.
is written in Sharpie.
Yeah, so the that's where we're getting to. So the bottle, it's a square bottle. It says Stolen Whiskey on it, and it's literally got like Sharpie scratches, like it scratched out the label, and they wrote Stolen Whiskey in Sharpie. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Let me see it.
It's a pretty cool bottle.
Yeah, I give the bottle props. And it's got a cork, always a plus.
It does
Yeah,
have a
it's pretty
cork.
cool.
The pop was kind of weird. The top spout doesn't pour quite as perfect as it could, but not bad. I mean, it's
They
nice.
didn't ace the pour with the bottle.
I like these simple labels are nice, man. When it's not too busy,
Mhm.
I think they're cool. It's got nice color contrast and stuff.
What's the company that pours the shot into the lid? Is that 1800?
1800, yeah.
Yeah.
That's tequila.
That's a fucking great thing.
Yeah, it's marketing, dude. That's such a good idea too. Drunkenness, I don't know. We're halfway through this bottle now. But yeah, we'll wait till the end of the show and we'll talk about drunkenness.
It's 92 proof, so I don't think it's going to let us down.
Obviously, I can't wrap on that, and I'm not going to do a review on Wild Turkey because I think we need to have it on the show. We'll do that here in the next few weeks or so. But I am fucking excited to have it on the show. I forgot about Wild Turkey for a little while, not gonna lie. And when I got here into DC, turns out you can't buy fucking beer in the gas station, so I had to go to the liquor store. And I went and picked up a 12-pack of beer and was looking around at bottles of whiskey, and I saw 101 and was just like, "Yep, that's the one." Nailed it.
Can't buy beer. Can't buy beer in the gas station, but you can go buy weed.
Yep.
Benjamin Franklin wanted the national bird to be a turkey, not the eagle. Do you know that?
I've heard that.
I just made that up.
Have you ever had a turkey leg though?
But I guess my point is, well, how fitting that you're in D.C. and that's like Benjamin Franklin's like.
Yeah, and you took that picture of him sitting down, big statue of him.
Benjamin Franklin sitting down.
Yeah,
and a big statue.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. A turkey's good. Good bird.
Dude, there's nothing
I don't think so. Come on, can we quit sucking Benjamin Franklin's dick? Turkey's a terrible national bird. I mean, props to Ben Franklin. I don't want to discredit what he did,
He jive-ass turkey.
inventing freedom and all that.
I mean, he's got a statue of him with a turkey, so fuck you, dude.
But come on, there's way cooler birds than a fucking turkey.
No, but turkeys are fucking delicious.
What about an ostrich?
Dude,
Doesn't make any sense. This isn't fucking Australia, bro.
Turkeys are fucking delicious. Turkeys, alright, two things. One, turkey legs at a state fair. You can't fuck with that. Smoked turkey legs out at a state fair.
I'm not debating a turkey leg's merits for killing and eating.
No, they're the shit for that.
But for being like a badass
and
bird.
then fucking Thanksgiving, bro. This is the national bird of November.
I think the national bird of Texas is a mockingbird, and that's a badass bird.
Until they start fucking emulating car alarms.
Like when you're trying to sleep in the morning. So for those of you that don't live in Texas, the mockingbird, they call it a mockingbird because it'll mimic sound. And that's a thing. A mockingbird will mimic the sound of a car alarm. And dude, you can be sleeping in on a Sunday and a fucking mockingbird will start.
You have to be in a special part of town, but this is facts.
Yeah.
But mockingbirds will also like punk all the shitty birds. Like if a crow flies up and is trying to fuck with your shit, mockingbird's like, get out of here, crow. Yeah.
Fuck you, crow.
Do what I want.
Yeah, they're hardcore, man. Almost as hardcore as magpies.
What?
You ever seen a magpie before?
No.
They're
Fuck
fucking
you.
like hardcore. They're like,
This isn't a bird watching podcast. You fucking
fuck
clown.
yeah, we're nerding out on birds, bitch. Y'all better listen up.
What's a chickpea?
That's a.
What's the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo?
You tell me.
I wouldn't let a garbanzo on my face.
I don't get it, Joe.
Yeah,
Explain yourself.
say it one more time.
What's the
Just
difference
kidding.
between
Don't say it
a
one time.
chickpea and a garbanzo, you fucking idiot? Alright,
I don't get it.
Are you saying you'd let a chickpea on your face?
yeah, I said I'm trying to say I'm into golden showers.
How much does that cost?
Hey, man, they got cans of them by the gallon.
Free if
They're
you know the right people.
$2.99.
So, this last weekend, it was my birthday.
You let a chickpea on your face?
Well, yeah, but I do
We're
that
not gonna be
every.
able to move past.
I do that every
Yeah,
weekend, so that wasn't
Tell
really.
us about the chickpea.
Yeah, dude. Get to the point.
No, what happened this last weekend, Joe?
So it was my birthday, and I ran around, did a few things. It was fun, but on my actual birthday,
On your birthday, you wanted a chickpea on your face?
yeah,
That was your birthday present, huh?
Man, she just charged him less. It was like 20% off for your birthday.
God
All
damn
right,
it,
and then
we're
what
really not
happened?
going to let this go, are we? All right, so I went to the tattoo shop, and they have a thing where you pay $60 up front, and they have one of those like ball machines they used to have in restaurants where you could get a like you put quarters in, it spits out a ball with a little toy in it. So it was one of
And
those.
that's the tattoo you get?
Yeah, but it had tattoo
I've
designs
played
in
this
it.
game before.
Yeah, so I did that this weekend, and it was an
Friday the
experience. No, it wasn't Friday the 13th. It wasn't that. It was a fucking just like it's something they have all the time.
14.
Yeah, Saturday the 14th actually. But
That's even worse.
I've seen
did
him
it.
do it with the Friday the 13th tattoos. You do the little machine and get the ball,
But-
get the
but-
thing, and that's your Friday the 13th tattoo.
So I did a Friday the 13th tattoo, and basically it's just here's a sheet of paper. You pick one off of that, and we'll do it for $20.
right, yeah.
And that was that's a little bit like, oh shit, like this isn't something that I'm gonna get to think out a whole lot, but it's not quite as ballsy as just like, all right, I'll take whatever you give me, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is that part of the tattoo culture? Is like having a whack tattoo, or potentially good. I know it could be good too, but the risk of having a whack tattoo just for the sake of the story.
If you're going for a $20 tattoo, you're gonna have a whack tattoo.
Yeah, I mean,
no, it's a $60 down payment, and then you pay $20 for it.
No, he was talking about something different. No. What Blake's talking about is $20 tattoos.
Chop. Is that part of the tattoo culture? Like, is that part of the allure?
Right? All right. So I'm not going to say everybody, but I'm going to say like 85-90% of people who have a lot of tattoos have at least one shitty tattoo, even if they've gotten it covered up or whatever. Like they've gotten a shitty tattoo, right? So I don't necessarily think it's the allure of that, because like this particular shop I went to, I knew all of the artists. Like, it's the shop that I go to for my sleeve. I knew all the artists that were in there. I knew that it wasn't going to be a bad tattoo. It just may not be something that I would have gotten or designed or picked out. You know what I mean?
But that's part of it, right? Like,
yeah.
The idea is you're gonna get a tattoo that you wouldn't normally get.
It shows you.
Yeah, you're gonna try a food that you wouldn't normally try. You're gonna do this thing that you wouldn't normally do. You're gonna get a tattoo that you wouldn't pick for yourself.
Right.
But it's gonna happen.
And that's kind of
tattoos, same thought process, right?
Yeah. That's one of my things. That's a bucket list thing. And honestly, I think I'm a little more comfortable with that because those Tabori tattoos have a theme, at least. Like, it looks like a Tabori tattoo, but it's still the same concept. Like, you go and you hang out with the person, the artist, and they get to know you, at least to the point where they decide, okay, this is the tattoo I'm going to do for you, and then they get to put it on you. So it's still relinquishing that look, you have power over, like, you have the choice to pick what gets put on my body permanently.
Yeah.
Show up drunk.
I think what you're explaining, and if I'm way off base, then just be like, no, that's all fucking wrong. But what you're explaining is kind of that, like, that relinquishing of power. You're saying someone's fate, I guess, because you did it a different way, but
right.
Fate is going to decide what gets put on my body.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, that was kind of the cool part. Like, we went in and the people at the shop were like, all right, it's $60. We'll give you the quarters. You fucking get the ball out of the machine. What you get's what you get. You can pay $10 to, like, re-roll, basically. And you can re-roll as many times as you want, but it's $10 each time. And, like, I got there and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, no. I'm going to put the shit in the machine and I'm going to get whatever the fuck comes out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm glad you didn't puss out like that.
So,
number one. That would have been a terrible story. Like, the whole reason you go there is for that story, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's for that story, and you're gonna fuck the whole story up by being like, oh, let me try again.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
Yeah, that's lame.
So,
you took the first one, right?
Yeah, first one. Like, and it popped out, and dude, all right. So it's a baby in a diaper with boxing gloves on. That's what I got.
And you went, oh no.
No, I saw it and I was like, this is not what I was expecting at all. Because honestly, what I was expecting was some, like, clip art, old school, fucking traditional style, like almost Sailor Jerry-esque tattoos. Like, that's kind of what I had in my head, right? And it is kind of that style, but it's definitely some unique designs and shit. So, like the one that I got, like I just explained, and then the other one that popped out was and this is for the person that was with me, they had a skull, but it had 4 eyes instead of 2. And it had eyes still in there. So, like, definitely some...
So again, so I've been with people that are like, look, I got this just because I like the design. Mm-hmm. I feel like what you're explaining is like, dude, I got this just for the story, just for the adrenaline rush, the sake of the roll of the dice.
Yeah,
you know?
Pretty much, yeah. And I got it, like, right next to my fucking Friday the 13th tattoo that's on my... You know, like, oh, this is where my shitty tattoos go, kind of spot, and that's fine. Like, now that's what that area is for, you know? Like, yeah, whatever.
I did a Friday the 13th tattoo, and dude, I put it right on my arm, but it kind of fit with my theme, just because. I mean, it just did.
Yeah.
I did a Friday the 13th tattoo, and then I was like, that's little and shitty all by itself there. And so I went back like a week later and had a much bigger tattoo around the Friday the 13th tattoo. I didn't cover it. I integrated it into the middle of the tattoo.
A larger tattoo.
Yeah.
That is one thing. If you're going to get a tattoo, if you think it needs to be this big, double it.
Yeah.
It needs to be twice that big. Like, if you're going to get your first tattoo, it's too small. Just trust me. Get it twice as big as that. Yeah. Whatever you have in your head, it needs to be twice as big as that.
Yeah, because you get it in a small, and then you're like, oh no, I need like 5 more tattoos to balance this out now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's one thing. I was
What are some other parts of tattoo culture that maybe people don't necessarily know, like this idea of rolling the dice or letting someone else pick what goes on your body, or fate pick what goes on your body.
Friday the 13th are even pretty up there. Like
Friday the 13th is way up there. I definitely think there's... So, I don't... Like, people who don't have tattoos may or may not know this, but there's definitely, like, you go get a tattoo and you will leave the shop fucked up. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you
Even
just
if you
smoke
go
some
in
weed or
full
drank
sober.
or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, you can go in completely sober and you will leave not feeling sober.
my ideal situation is smoke a blunt, stop at Krispy Kreme on the way, and
Yeah, you're gonna
fucking
need that sugar.
down a whole bunch of Krispy Kreme right before I go in for my tattoo. Or shit house drunk, and who cares?
Yeah.
I think there's also a natural progression, like a hero's journey or whatever, or maybe like a laid out story about people that get tattoos. Everybody starts with like one small tattoo that means something important to them, right?
Right.
And then a little bit bigger, and you do one that's a little bit more personal, but like more you, like more defiant, but still part of your identity and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So you start small, go bigger, and then at some point you get to a point where you're like, I want something that looks good. And I feel like after that, the next step is, okay, I want something that is a good story.
Mm-hmm.
That every time someone goes, hey, why that one? So, of course, when you get your first one, you're like, oh, I got this one for, my family or my dad or my kid or whatever. But eventually they're like, what about that one? And you're like, okay, so we were in Vegas. I just done a bombs. There was, like you have the story, right?
Yep.
And the first time that happens, you go, that's a cool thing. That story is worth more than the tattoo. That's when these $20 tattoos and these roll of the dice tattoos come in.
Yeah.
So my Friday the 13th tattoo happened at the Harley dealership the year after I bought my Harley. And I laid on a tattoo table in the middle of the dealership staring at a bunch of really badass bikes while I got the tattoo. So that,
and you got a Friday the 13th tattoo.
And it was a Friday the 13th tattoo. And it inspired me to put the entire engine of my bike on my leg around said $13 tattoo.
I'm to the point in my tattoo journey where I want to get something that has no meaning at all, that just looks super cool. Like,
Hell yeah.
I think that's what I want.
So
I want to do some meaningful ones.
Say what, Chop?
Part of my tattoo journey, and you were a part of it, was I decided that I wanted to tattoo myself. And that was like a bucket list item.
Yeah.
And that was fucking wild, man, because I practiced for a little while, like gave it a month or two where I was fucking around with pigskins and stuff like that. And then kind of out of the...
Explain for people that don't know tattoo culture or tattoo process, pigskins.
So you can actually go buy pig skin from like Mexican meat markets and stuff like that, and you can tattoo that for practice because it's the closest thing to actually tattooing human skin if you're wanting to practice. So I did that for a little bit, practice for a little while, was just doing, whatever I could to try and get the feel for it because I didn't really have anybody to teach me. And then kind of out of the blue, Blake was like, all right, let's do it. Tattoo me. Come over.
Well, no, so I asked him. I thought he was going to puss out. This is like that the Western talk we were. I was like, all right, so you think you're ready? Because he was talking about, hey, I tattooed this. Look how cool this looks. And I was like, so you think you're ready? And he was like, honestly, I do. And I was like, then let's do it. Like I thought I was calling him out,
Yeah.
dude. And he was like, okay. And I was like,
Oh shit.
Okay. So then it became this thing, and the adrenaline was going for me as much as it was going for him, I imagine. Like, he's tattooing a person for the first time. I'm getting tattooed by a person that's never tattooed a person for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, it was a rush, but it was an awesome story. I think it's an awesome story, and the tattoo turned out pretty good.
I feel like the most badass things that happen in life is just a series of people bluffing each other into doing it.
Yeah, one-upping each other.
Until you get to this point of like, okay, we can't go any harder than that.
Someone's like, how crazy would it be to jump off that? And someone's like, I bet you won't. And they're like, I'll do it if you do it. And you're like, well, if I don't do it, then I'm pussy.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, fine, let's do this.
And you're like, no, fuck you, I'll do it first. And I bet you won't. And they're like, now it's a race up the hill to jump off of the thing.
Yeah, that's how it goes down for sure.
I think the moral of the
You hold
story
the camera. I'm going to swim off Niagara Falls.
I think the moral of the story is don't break rule number 1. You can't be a pussy.
Don't be a pussy.
And then after you're not a pussy, rule number 2, shut the fuck up. So be sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can listen on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and your favorite podcasting app. We have new episodes every Monday. Be sure to check us out. We'll see you next week.